July is coming up, and this could arguably be the weakest month for game releases of the year. New PlayStation 4 game releases, that is. It's not that we don't have exciting games being released next month. However, in terms of big budget releases, you're not going to see a lot of those next month. However, there are still some rather compelling games, and I want to guide your guys' wallet in the right direction. So once again, we're going to be doing a what to buy video on the PlayStation 4 games that you should buy in July, and there are a lot of titles that you should also skip. Now, as is the case with every month, I try to give you guys a variety of different factors on why I say a game is a buy versus why a game is a skip. A lot of the times I have a pretty good idea on what games are going to go on sale rather quickly, and I also bring into play value in terms of what the game's price is and other elements. So with that being said, let's get right into it, and let's start off with the games that I think are buys, and we've got 3 to go over. First off, we have Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. This is the latest expansion of Final Fantasy XIV and the game's 3rd expansion pack overall. Shadowbringers takes players to a new dimension, the first star, which is a reflection of the source, which is the player's homeworld. Here, players are tasked with restoring darkness to a world drowning in light as they atop the mantle of the Warrior of Darkness. Its features include a new level cap of 80, new dungeons, new raids, including one themed around Nier Automata, so that's very exciting. And Nier Automata and Final Fantasy XIV crossover, that's something I can definitely get behind. On top of that, you've got new zones, 2 new jobs in the Gunbreaker, which is a tank, and then you have Dancer as well, which is a range damage dealer, and changes to the battle system. And the expansion will feature 2 new playable races. Now, sometimes when I speak so highly about Final Fantasy XIV, some of you guys are like, okay, Final Fantasy XIV is not that great. I feel like a lot of you guys haven't played the game with the most recent expansions. The game is truly a tremendous MMO, and in my opinion, it competes right up there with the best MMOs released today. Now, I am a general fan of Final Fantasy, so obviously that enhances my overall experience. However, if you just want a compelling MMORPG, Final Fantasy XIV absolutely offers that, and Shadowbringers is going to extend your experience even more. It's hitting the PlayStation 4 on July 2nd. Next up, another title that I would say is a buy, and this one might surprise you a little bit. It's Wolfenstein Youngblood. This is the latest game from Machine Games being published by Bethesda, and the latest title in the Wolfenstein franchise. Now, Youngblood is more so a standalone expansion. It's not necessarily a whole brand new game. However, they are pricing this accordingly at $29.99, but in this case, I think there's a lot of reason to also pick up the Youngblood Deluxe Edition, which is going to be priced at $39.99. Now, the game itself is the first modern co-op Wolfenstein adventure. Team up with a friend or play solo as one of BJ Blazkowicz's twin daughters and wield a powerful arsenal of new weapons, gadgets, and abilities to liberate Paris from the Nazis. 19 years after the events of Wolfenstein 2, BJ has disappeared after a mission into Nazi-occupied Paris. Now, after years of training from their battle-hardened father, BJ's twin daughters and Jess and Soph Blazkowicz are forced into action. Now, obviously, one of the major elements of this game is cooperative play. Now, if you do want to play it solo, you can play it solo, but co-op play being such an integral element to the game, you probably want to play the game with a buddy, and that's where the Youngblood Deluxe Edition comes into play. Generally, when you play a game cooperatively, you each have to own a copy of the game, but with the Youngblood Deluxe Edition, you actually get an invite to invite a friend to play the game with you, and they don't have to own the game. So essentially, if you do split the cost of the Deluxe Edition with a friend, you end up getting the game for $20, and that is a great buy. If you are a big Wolfenstein fan and you just want to play it anyway, you don't have any friends that want to play it with you, even then, buying the game for $30 isn't bad. This is a case where they really got the pricing right, and I think that's going to pay dividends in terms of how well this game does commercially, so very good to see that. Wolfenstein in general has been really good. Wolfenstein The New Order was great, Wolfenstein New Colossus was fantastic as well, and now you have Youngblood, and I'm sure Youngblood is going to turn out pretty well also. Alright, next up in the final game that I would list as a buy is Dragon Quest Builders 2. Now, Dragon Quest Builders was a very good game. It's a game that I really didn't think would turn out well. Dragon Quest crossed with Minecraft. You've got Dragon Quest thematics, but then you've got some Minecraft gameplay style, but then it also tries to retain some action RPG-oriented elements. It's a pretty interesting game. However, it was pretty interesting going into the release of the game, and it turned out really well, and now all these years later, we have the sequel that was already released in Japan back in December of last year, but now it's coming stateside. And the Japanese release of the game was received incredibly well. Famitsu awarded the title a 37 out of 40, which is a pretty good score. And if you enjoyed the first Dragon Quest Builders, the sequel, just look for it to build upon the fundamental aspects of the first title. Now, if you didn't play the first title, I'd recommend you to pick up that, see how you like it. These days, you could probably get it for around $15. Dragon Quest Builders 2 is going to come at a full $59.99, so at that price point, maybe you'll be a little bit hesitant, but the first DQ Builders did hold up in price for quite a while. I don't know if Dragon Quest Builders 2 is going to hold up in price price as well, given that DQ11 went on sale fairly quickly. But nonetheless, if you enjoyed the first game, I think there's going to be a lot to like out of the second game, so I did want to put that as a buy, especially with the barren releases that we do have in July. Alright, so those are the 3 games that I would list as buy. Now, there are a bunch of other compelling titles that are being released, but I would probably wait on a sale for those. First up, we have Attack on Titan 2 Final Battle. This was one I was on the fence of maybe considering it to be a buy, maybe it's one to wait on for a sale. I ended up putting it in the wait for sale category because this is a game that released last year, and it adds content from the 3rd season of the anime. It is going to be priced at a full $59.99, which is kind of a hard price to stomach at this point. If you're a big Attack on Titan fan, by all means pick up the game, but I know a lot of you guys already picked up Attack on Titan 2 last year, and I believe the expansion is going to be released as DLC as well, but it's a sizable buy. I believe it's $40, so getting the complete pack for $60, while that isn't a horrible deal, at the same time, $60 for a game that did release a year ago, that's a little bit too pricey, and I would say wait on a sale for this one. Once it hits that $40 threshold, I think it would be a really good buy, but at this point, at $60, a little bit too expensive. That does drop July 5th. Next up, Stranger Things is making the transition to the video game scene with Stranger Things 3 The Game. It's the official companion game to Season 3 of the hit original series. This is being published by Netflix themselves, and the game itself looks like a pretty quirky action-adventure title. It's got a great pixel art style. We don't know the price point for it at this point. If it is priced accordingly at around $9.99, it might be worth a buy. However, it's also a game I see going on sale fairly quickly, so I would say wait on a sale for this one. Next up, we have Etherborn, a pretty cool adventure atmospheric puzzle platformer. We don't know too much about it, but it is a game I want you guys to keep on your radar, so I would say add it to your wish list, but wait for a sale down the line and pick it up then. Next up, we've also got Songbird Symphony. Now, this is a game that while I'm looking at it, I am completely captivated by it. It's got some awesome pixel graphics, and it looks to be a heartwarming journey of discovery as orphan chick Burb sets off to find his true origins. It's an incredibly charming game. It's not going to be up everyone's alley, but I was pretty enamored by it, and I would say this is one to definitely add to your wish list. Depends on the price point, but I do see this one being priced at around $14.99 or $19.99, and at that price, waiting for a sale is probably your best bet. Next up, I did want to give a shout to Sea of Solitude, which is an EA published title which looks incredibly compelling. It has you meet your monsters and embark on a journey with Kay as she explores her own loneliness and attempts to save her loved ones from theirs. Adventure through a flooded city by boat, on foot, or by swimming and discover new areas for you to explore. Along the way, you'll solve puzzles, rid the world of tainted memories, and discover a variety of lovely and terrifying monsters. Now, the game is being priced at $19.99, which I think is a pretty solid price point. However, with EA Access also arriving to the PlayStation 4, we know at some point this game is just going to be inserted into EA Access, so you're probably better off just waiting for that, especially if you are planning to subscribe anyway. But for $19.99, it does look to be a pretty cool game. It's just that with EA Access being a thing, I really can't recommend a lot of EA titles from the get-go. So that's my 2 cents. Next up, another popular IP making the video game transition is Kill la Kill with Kill la Kill IF. Kill la Kill IF is an action fighting game based off the popular cult anime series, and it features popular characters from the series and includes the original voice actors in Japanese as well as the original voice actors who voiced the US anime series. Action fighting gameplay lets you relive the excitement and adrenaline of the anime. The only thing is priced at a full $60. These anime games, usually if you're a fan of the anime, you'll enjoy it, but they're not the best games from top to bottom, and at a full $60 price point, just a little bit too hard to stomach. Maybe down the line at 30 or 40, it'd be better, but at 60, a little bit too much. Also, we have They Are the Billions. This is a game that's already been released on PC, but now it's making the transition to PlayStation 4. It's a very good game. It was received rather well overall on Steam based on 12,635 user reviews. 83% positive, and it's a steampunk strategy game set on a post-apocalyptic planet. Build and defend colonies to survive against the billions of the infected that seek to annihilate the few remaining living humans. Can humanity survive after the zombie apocalypse? Now, it is a little pricey at $30. The PC version does see discounts from time to time, but this was also a game I believe is a part of Origin Access Premier. That is a PC service, but that gives me an indication that they're probably willing to work with publishers and other services to get this game as a part of services, whether it be part of PlayStation Plus as a free offering, PlayStation Now, or whatever the case may be, whether it just goes on sale rather quickly. Because of that, I would say your best option is to wait on a sale, but if you do want a cool steampunk strategy game for $30, this one is pretty interesting. And lastly, Wolfenstein is actually getting 2 game releases in July. Not only are you going to get Youngblood, but you're also going to get Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, a brand new VR title. I'm a little bit skeptical on how this is going to turn now. The game is set in Paris 1980. You're the best hacker in town. Your mission: aid the French resistance by taking control of powerful Nazi war machines, ram, gun down, and burn your way through the city of love, leaving dead Nazis in your wake. It is going to be priced at $20, which I think is pretty good. However, being a VR game, I imagine it's going to be rather short in length, and it is actually being worked on by Arcane Studios and Machine Games, which is kind of surprising. If you're a big fan of Wolfenstein and you have VR, maybe it's a game to check out. However, I think from a fundamental gameplay standpoint, it's not going to be something incredibly compelling to the majority of people. And even for fans of Wolfenstein, this isn't your traditional Wolfenstein gameplay, just following a lot of the presentation elements. But nonetheless, at $20, it's not a bad price, but I probably would wait for it to get, say, sub of 15. And that's gonna conclude this video. Again, while July doesn't have an incredible lineup of super compelling games, there are some interesting titles, and that's why I would recommend games such as Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers if you're invested into Final Fantasy. Wolfenstein Youngblood looks great, and you can split the cost with a friend and get it for 20 bucks. DQ Builders 2 is almost surefire to be excellent. However, there are a lot of other titles that, while I wouldn't pick up right away, probably should keep them on your wish list and maybe pick them up down the line. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.